Let's go to LeetCode number 65, valid number. It gives us a string, and let's try to validate with this kind of string follow our number format. So this question, it defines a valid number can be split into several parts. First, it can be a decimal or an integer. And optionally, it can have a e, lower or uppercase, lowercase or uppercase e, then followed by an integer. And it defines a decimal can be like this. That is, it can have a plus or minus sign. Then for decimal, it can have several digits followed by a dot or a dot in the middle of the string or a dot followed by digits. So actually it is say that if we exclude the first plus or minus sign, we'll have for this kind of string, the other part should be always digits, and it can have a dot appear only once. And integer, so also option can have a plus or minus sign. Then all the rest part should be digits. So let's write code. If as was not, we just return false. So let's put this one s equals s to lowercase s. So int e index equals s dot index of e. So if e index equals -1, that means there is no e in it. So the rest part, it can be a integer or a decimal. There is no in it. So just will return is decimal or integer. Yes. And for this kind of string, e cannot appear at the beginning of the string or at the end of the string. So if e index equals 0 or e index equals s dot length -1, will return false. And let's split okay. And also, if there are multiple e's, for example, if let's split first. Let's split e. If TRS dot length greater than 2, I return false. Then I return for the first part, it is can be digital or can be decimal or integer. In the second part is integer. Let's write these two help functions. We'll say it optionally can have n plus or minus n. So we'll write if str start with str start with a minus n, we just let here with str dot substring one. For integer, we also have this kind of conditions. Let's write a pilot integer first because it should have one or more digits. So if we remove the char sign, if str dot length, for example, becomes 0, return false. And also for the rest part, it should be only digits. For char save char if isn't a digit character is digit, say return false. And for is digital or integer, we know for digital it must have a dot, and the dot should appear in the string only once, exactly once. And an integer, the dot, there is no dot in it. So we can have a dot count in it. So let's copy this code here because this cannot be empty. And it says that if it should have for decimal, if there is a dot, there must have decimal before that, or at least one kind of decimal. So this kind of string cannot equals if it equals this dot to also return false. So we know for integer decimal counts is 0, decimal counts is 1. So we have in dot count here. Then we iterate the char in the char. So if c equals dot, then dot count plus, then if dot count greater than 1, return false. Else if the same thing if it's not digital, right? So in C it can be dot or digit, but the dot can appear 0 times or 1 times. And for the other things that if it's not digital, just return false. And 40, 43. So we need to have several test cases for this question. For example, this will be false because the second part is it is decimal, so this will return false. And this will also return false because it has two minus sign. Take this one as example. Okay. Submit. If I think this right this way. Because we get only the first E, this will have problem. So we cannot write like this. We should like write if S dot start with B or S dot end with B, return false. Trying to see. Okay, so this question is very tedious. A lot of corner cases, and I write a lot of times. Seems, for example, whether it start with E, and we also compare those kind of lengths. In the even there is plus sign, minus sign, it can appear only one set at the beginning. So, also the dot sign. Some people write this two part into one half function and has Boolean is first part, because for the first part, this dot count can be equals to 0 or equals to 1, and for second part, this dot count can only be 0, and can be composed into one function. So the time complexity will be the length of the string.